Hello dear tea friends from around the world. Welcome to a new tea class with me, Stéphane Erler. I'm the founder of the Tea Masters blog and the tea-masters.com tea boutique. Today actually is going to be a preschool event. I'm going to announce the program for this fall. I'm going to talk to you about the ideas I had for new subjects, and I see four big themes that I want to examine with you. And we'll start with the first, a new idea. It's been done by other tea bloggers, but I thought, since I'm so much into reviewing books and the meaning of tea in these books, I did the George Washington biography a few years ago. I did it for Proust, à la recherche du temps perdu, in the search of lost time. I'm doing it now also for at Water's Margin. I'm really, when I read a book, I try to look at it from a tea point of view, but actually there are also tea books written, and one thing I want to do with you is to study, read and comment the most important, the most famous tea book of all this semester. So of course I'm talking about Lu Yu's Cha Jing, the book of tea. So we'll do once a month reading of one chapter and commentary of this chapter that we just read. There is the idea also came back because in France at Les Belles Lettres there's a new book, new translation that has been published. So I think it will give me a lot of ideas for the comments that are inside this book, and because there are also lots of misconceptions. I've read some other translations before in French, and I was really not very satisfied with what I read. So maybe this will also give me the opportunity to give some clarification of what was meant at that time when Louis wrote his book. The second subject I would like to do with you is actually continue something I started last year, these monthly interviews with some of you to get your background about tea, how you came to tea, what are the teas that you like the most, in what format you are brewing them, what they bring to your life, and then in the second part of the interview I give you the opportunity to brew in front of me. We've done this already last year, and then I can see where you can improve your technique, what are things that you can pay more attention to, and I hope that this kind of a private tea lesson will be an incentive for you to participate in these interviews. So contact me through email if you are interested in such an interview. I would like to do roughly once a month one of them. The third subject is also a new subject, and the idea to it came when I did a series of 7 articles about a book, The 7 Habits of Effective People. This is a management book that appeared 20 years ago and very successful. Millions of copies have been sold of this book, and I thought, it could be fun to see what advice is given in this book and translate it into our world of tea, and see if this advice can also be applied to our technique of making tea. And really, for each advice, indeed there was a way to translate it into our practice. And the very last habit that was mentioned was to improve yourself in the 4 areas that matter: your body, your mind, your social life, and in the spiritual realm. So this I thought, oh, actually this is also something that tea can help in each 4 areas. Now, which area should we start with? In the habit number 1, actually, they say prioritize, first come first. And so I thought, well, what is the most important of these areas? Actually, they are like building blocks. If you don't have a good body, a good health, then you don't feel like drinking tea at all. When you are sick, this is the experience we make. So we only want to stay in bed and get well quickly, and so it's very difficult to enjoy tea when we are sick. So for me, the first building block that is important is our body, to be in a good health, and only then can we try to improve our mind, our social life, and our spiritual life. But first comes the body. This is our really our building block, our the first link that we have to nurture. And in today's world, there are threats to our bodies. In the past, it used to be a lack of food, but today is too much food. And here I have the experience. In the last 6 months, I've lost 10 kilograms, over 20 pounds. I was a bit overweight, liking food a bit too much, and I think that to some extent this shows that being a regular tea drinker does not make you slim automatically. It's not because the tea did not drinking tea on a regular basis did not really make me slim. I still had to do some conscious effort to get better, and by getting slimmer, actually, I also resolved several problems in my body that I did not know were linked to my overweight. One was a knee problem, another one frequent headaches. These are almost gone thanks to my new diet. So this is something I already told you last year, but I want in this year, once a month, to see how we can use tea in order to improve on our health. And I think I've come up with some interesting ideas to try to connect both the healthy habits and tea in our daily routine. So this will be the theme number 3, and the last theme number 4 for our classes will be also regularly, at least once a month, a review of a tea, preferably new teas that I have not reviewed yet. For instance, the 4 Tie Guan Yin that is in my sampler on my boutique on teamasters.com. And these 4 Tie Guan Yin are interesting because, one, they come really from the original region from Anxi in Fujian, where Tie Guan Yin was kind of invented, born. They use the really original, authentic cultivar for Tie Guan Yin. There's lots of fakes. And these 4 Tie Guan Yin are all made with a different roasting level. So this will be interesting to see how the roast will impact the taste, the flavors, the aftertaste of the tea, and what are the differences with it. Then I think it would also be interesting to study the latest Dong Ding Oolong from the king of the competition in Dong Ding. This guy has won lots of awards over the last 10 years in the Dong Ding competition and similar competitions in Taiwan. So his Dong Ding roasting is really top-notch, and I was really impressed by the one that I selected. It's in my selection under the Hongshui category. And we can also study the Alishan Oolongs from this spring. They are quite interesting because I have selected 3 different Qingxing Oolong from 3 different villages. Juefeng, Changshuhu, and Shouzuo. Shouzuo is, by the way, the one I'm going to drink now. With a nice minerality, a little bit more masculine taste. Nicely thirst quenching on this wave, cool chabu. Great for the summer, and also the Jinxuan that is this year made in June, because in late March, beginning of April, it was so hot that it was not possible to make Jinxuan in the Alishan area. So I got one from June, and it's very affordable, only $4 for 25 grams or 20 for 150 grams. A great tea as a gift. It's already probably the cheapest, most affordable oolong that you can find that is hand-picked from the high mountain. So a great tea to start, a great tea for every day, and it will be interesting to taste it and see what the second harvest of spring changes to this tea compared to the others. Yeah, and last but not least, on Instagram I posted a little story about an interesting gift I received. A Taiwan business gave me some FuShou Shan from the original FuShou Shan farm, and I've compared it to my FuShou Shan in my selection, and I found of course difference in quality in both. Here you don't have when you buy this in Taiwan, you don't have the choice of tasting it or sampling it beforehand. These are really well packaged, and you cannot open it to try before, unless the seller has an open bag. But usually for this tea you are not really supposed to try in advance. So on Instagram already announced for the 10 next orders of my FuShou Shan, I will give you 3 grams of this official FuShou Shan Oolong, so that you can compare my leaves and these leaves, and see how the selection really has an impact on the quality of the leaves. I believe there's a big difference, but I want you to be judge and see by yourself how these two FuShou Shan Oolongs will differ in quality and taste and aroma. I found the comparison really very interesting. I hope you too. And I thank you for your attention. We will start the tea classes in 2 weeks, so on September 10th. Next week I'm busy taking my daughter to her university, so I'm not there, but this will also give you time to place your orders, to collect the teas that you need for the teaching material to taste with me during the tea classes in this semester. Find maybe a copy of the Cha Jing, the book of tea from Louis, and we will probably start with this in 2 weeks. Thank you very much for your attention, and see you in 2 weeks.